Yo, what is going on today, guys? We're back here for another video. So we have some new decks that have been popping off in tournaments. I've also been seeing them in ranked in that higher echelon around the top 1000 range. So the first one is going to be this new electric deck. So Oricorio is one of the best cards right now in the meta, because a lot of the meta decks, like the top tier decks, are going to be heavy EX Pokemon such as sylveon Greninja. I don't know why I said that wrong. We also have obviously, Leafeon, Flareon, and then stuff like Sylveon and Charizard, which are very heavy EX decks that cannot deal for Oricorio. They have tech options, but that is essentially why Luxray is being played, because a lot of those decks only run one tech option. So if you can just get rid of that one tech, such as a Mergurnia in a Soul deck, an Eevee that hasn't evolved in a Charizard deck, if they've already used one Sylveon, and then obviously, like Sniper Greninja or something in these Greninja Sylveon decks of Luxray, it just basically lets Oricorio be able to just beat the rest of the deck, as they won't be able to attack into it. Yeah, so this deck plays Luxray, Aurora, and Oricorio, obviously with the Vulcaners for the Luxray's back-to-back attacks. And yeah, I mean, Luxray, like, if you don't know, because it's kind of been like here and there, bro, like in certain metas. Like when it first came out, it was like a little bit played, not really. But essentially, it is a stage 2, 3 lightning energy for a 120 bench snipe. Also has a no retreat cost, which is a definitely bonus in case you start with Shinx, you actually have Rare Candy go into Luxray, you could just retreat out for free, which is like a cool little thing that can happen. Yeah, but yeah, Luxray just snipes away all the cards that would essentially deal with Oricorio, and then Oricorio can just sweep. Aurora is nice because Oricorio does require 2 energy. Kind of nice to be able to play it down, not have to really worry about putting 2 energy on something else. You could just put Oricorio down, build it up, start attacking, and then build up the Luxray after. Or you could always use the Aurora if you start first, like swap out just to put that electric energy in the discard for Vulcaner. So I think it's just really cool. Then like the red card Hand Disruption, every deck should be playing either red card or Mars, unfortunately, just because they're just broken cards. And then because Luxray can bench snipe, plus Oricorio and Aurora don't do the most amount of damage, we have the Cyrus to be able to bring something back in, or bring something in after we snipe them. And then obviously for Oricorio, we don't like to be attacking in the Poison Barbs or Rocky Helmets, so we have the Guzma, which is a perfect support card solution. And yeah, so this deck actually ended up getting 4th place at the Frog EX tournament. As we can see here, if I scroll up a little bit, it got 4th place. And it is currently the only deck 8-0 in the Magma tournament that is currently going on. So it just made top cut going 8-0, so they should be guaranteed with a bye to get top 64, and maybe they could win the whole event, but who knows? The event's going on, so we'll have to wait and see. But I just think from these 2 tournaments, it proves it's a pretty good anti-meta deck. And I have been seeing it, like I said, in like the top 1000 range for Pokemon Pocket. Like, I don't know why I said it, but yeah, I've just been seeing it in top 1000, bro. Scuffed. But yeah. Another electric deck that I've been seeing is actually going to be this Oricorio Aurora Tapu Koko deck with that takes RCs actually, just for another attacker, because electric types don't really have a big attacker that's actually good. Like we have Load and Raichu, but it's a stage 1. So RCs is just nice as it's colorless. So essentially, it's just an aggro Tapu Koko Oricorio deck. You have Oricorio to wall off the EX Pokemon. You have Tapu Koko to be aggressive, and then we just have like the RCs to be able to charge up and do like a big attack if we really need to, depending on the matchup. Like I said, like it's not definitely the most common. Like these are not the most common decks, or just new decks that have been popping up. So I just wanted to showcase them off in case you guys are running them, or like kind of want to go try them out yourselves. Yeah, so down here you can see it has 2 electric records, has a giant cape, and then because we're only playing 7 Pokemon, it just has a bunch of room for support cards. So essentially, it's just like another deck that takes advantage of Oricorio. Instead of Luxray, being able to snipe out the weaknesses, it's just like a more aggressive variant that has Oricorio to wall certain decks off, but has the aggressiveness of Tapu Koko that can sometimes just like sweep a game. Next we have the Garchomp deck that I've already like basically showed on my channel. So this one plays Garchomp or Rampardos, and then we have the draw power from both the Eevee and the Sylveon to actually find the pieces we need, such as the Rare Candies, Skull Fossils, etc. So this is the most common build that runs 2 Lilies. I've been seeing some play like 1 Lily, 1 Cyrus, or like 1 Lily, 1 Giant Cape, stuff like that. Kind of just depends, on personal preference. And then for the Gibble, I've seen some running the Dragon one, because you don't want to get one shot by something like a Cortana. Buzzwole is still being played, obviously not the most represented, and it's not as dominant as it was last season, but you don't want to just lose to getting sniped by or like hit by a Cortana right away. So I personally prefer playing the Gibble. I know you do lose out on the benefit of the fighting bonus against stuff like Eevees and Savalis, and even stuff like the electric cards like Oricorio, but I think it's worth it just in case I do run into a Cortana to play the Dragon Gibble. But at the end of the day, if you want to take the risk, and also if you want to use the promo one, go ahead and play the fighting one. It's kind of up to you. But the reason this deck is doing very good, because it counters both the Eevee deck and also counters Sylveon Greninja, which is like basically the best deck in the game. Garchomp, you know, can snipe the stuff in the back that would like to actually set up. And then we just have Rampardos for like heavy damage, and then we have Eevee and the Sylveon for the draw power to actually make the deck consistent, because the biggest issue of this deck previously was that it's 2 stage 2s. Not only was it 2 stage 2s, it was 2 stage 2s in a fossil as a stage 2. So it was just very extremely inconsistent, because this deck, when it pops off, is one of the strongest decks in Pokemon Pocket, but the problem was, you know, actually getting it consistently. I know I've said that like 20 times, but essentially we have the Sylveon to fix that. So it's just a very strong anti-meta deck that kind of went from anti-meta to just kind of like, it's just strong. It's just simply strong, and it's probably going to just be one of these decks that are still going to be being played until the end of the season. Unless something like drastic and like Buzzwole or like Meowscarada Decidueye somehow creep its way back into the meta, which I don't think is likely. I think Meowscarada still struggles a lot with the Savali decks, which are still there in the tournaments, even if they're not the most represented anymore. So I think Garchomp and Rampardos is just really here to stay. So some new decks as well that I have been seeing some people playing. I've been seeing Mewtwo, Gardevoir, Sylveon. Like this was kind of like the deck that everyone kind of theorized first when Sylveon was announced. And I've been seeing it played more in tournaments and ranked. I just want to say here, this is definitely not the best deck by any means. It can be if you god roll, like going second with Gardevoir, Ralts, with the rare candy, Sylveons. It can be extremely strong because you can start doing like high blast, dude, pretty fast, like the side drive 150 blast. But the deck can definitely still be bricky, even if the addition of Sylveon. So I just want to give that an FYI. Plus, I don't think it's as powerful as the previous decks I have showcased, but because I have been seeing it, I just wanted to talk about it. And then also because, oh, first off, they have the Geo. Just 160 on Mewtwo is a pretty good threshold. Plus, you know, Geo can actually let Gardevoir one-shot something like an Oricorio. Just a cool little tech option. And there's also a different version that is playing red instead of the Geo, and is playing one Mewtwo and then one Giratina. So it's just kind of like different versions of the deck. This one has the Pokemon for consistency. I don't think the other one did. So I've been seeing like these two Mewtwo decks kind of like popping up like here and there, a little bit of ranked, but in tournaments I have been seeing these like more often than actually you would think. So I just wanted to showcase off because I think it's cool. You know, Gardevoir Mewtwo was one of the original dominant decks of the game, and then obviously the biggest problem was the consistency, which Sylveon does solve. Not only is that, like, Sylveon is a psychic type, which also, you know, synergizes with the energy of the deck. So yeah, I think it's just kind of cool that it's like coming back, even if it's not the most like meta defining thing. It's just cool to see it here and there. Anyways, I think that does it. These are just the new decks that I wanted to showcase in case anybody was interested in trying them out themselves. And yeah, if anybody tries out these decks, let me know how they do in the comments below, and peace out and have a lovely day as always.